Hello and welcome to a supplemental podcast. This podcast is going to be with Curtis and Holly this time. There is no Corey, there's no Gaia, it's just the two of us. And the purpose of this podcast is to basically intro you to Holly. Holly has been with us for about 2 months approximately, but I figured we should do a little episode kind of spotlighting her and kind of going over what she does, who she is, her background. And we'll get into all sorts of the embarrassing stories about her life and stuff like that. So Holly, first thing we're going to do is, can you kind of introduce yourself, say your name, say where you're from, that type of thing?
Sure. So I'm Holly. I'm from Manchester in the north of England. I imagine most of you have probably realised by now by my accent that I'm not from the same place as Curtis and Gaia and Corey and everyone else.
I had no idea. I said I had no idea. I thought you were from the US. Anyways, I was
just clarifying. Anyway, oh God, what was I saying? Oh yes, so yeah, I mean, my background is primarily musician more than anything. I started learning like the piano and the guitar from about the age of 6. Cool. So I've been doing stuff for quite a long time. And then I got into music journalism whilst I was at uni because a friend of mine runs a music blog, so I just managed to get involved with that. And then it was sort of through that I suddenly realized the whole industry of music PR is a thing, because I'd never even heard of it before. Cool. And seeing all the press releases coming through, I was thinking, oh, okay, I could potentially do that. And I started doing bits of like marketing experience and things like that whilst I was at uni as well. And yeah, then they offered the careers department offers like a sort of startup thing to help you get going if you want to do self-employment or freelancing or anything like that. So yeah, that's when I thought, okay, let's just have a go at doing music PR and see if it goes anywhere.
Cool. You were doing PR for how long?
I've been doing it for about 2 years now, as in like a paid position. Cool. I did a couple of sort of experience bits and bobs for people, like maybe 6 months to a year before that, just because I wanted to get like, a couple of testimonials and things like that, so people knew that I had some sort of experience in what I was doing.
Yeah. Do you see the smirk trying not to come out?
I'm wondering where you're going with it.
Because I was just going to point out, because how long was your internship with C Squared?
Like a week. Not even that. It was probably like 24 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's why I was kind of smirking, because it's like you had to do a 6-month internship or a year or whatever, and then with us it was like 24 hours. Anyways, I cut you off. Can you please keep going?
That's not, oh God, yes. So where was I?
You were talking about 1 year in PR, or sorry, 2 years in PR and paid rather, and then you did the internship, and I smirked.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I was doing so 18 months, 2 years. I must have been doing DV PR when I shared the Facebook thing, and then you messaged me, and everything sort of exploded. So it was kind of all gone.
Went from 0 to hero.
Sorry, I missed that. You cut out.
You went from 0 to hero, I said.
Okay.
0 to hero.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's sort of, just been propelled into the middle of everything. But it's quite nice, actually, because I'd sort of gotten to the point where I was thinking it's not financially viable.
Yeah.
And I needed to find something else. But then it was kind of obviously with COVID and everything, it's kind of hard to find other jobs anyway at the moment. So it was kind of nice that, everything just sort of seemed to fall into place, and hopefully it's all going to work out wonderfully.
It will. I'm sure it will. Okay, so you've been doing this for 2 years approximately, including your unpaid stuff, about 3 years approximately, correct? Yeah. Okay, so now, how long did it take you to get your first paying client, just on your own, just out of curiosity?
That was pretty quick, actually.
Cool.
There was one band who just somehow, I don't know if they just came across the website by coincidence or just came across the Facebook page. So I did a single campaign for them very early on, and I also had a few local bands get in touch, and it kind of helped that I had mutual friends with a couple of them. But it was all very, it's one of the things, to be honest, I think I was undercharging And I was kind of doing that partly because I wanted to, I don't know, I felt as though I needed to be affordable because I know it can be expensive for some people when they're starting out.
Yeah.
But also I think I did the thing of, oh, I've not got enough experience. I'm just going to be
Yeah.
really cheap
Yeah.
until I feel like I can justify a higher price.
Yeah.
And that was fine, but that has sort of contributed to the fact that I wasn't making enough money.
Yeah.
So
So, okay, so you felt like you were undercharging at first, okay, but you were getting good results for people, I take it?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't, super high profile media or anything, but these were bands that were very new into the underground anyway. So it
Yeah.
was kind of getting them known on a few smaller blogs, and like online radio stations and things seemed to sort of, get them
Yeah.
a footing on the ladder sort of thing.
Yeah, no, that's normal. Okay, and then so how many campaigns do you think you ran total prior to working with us, approximately?
Maybe like 15.
Oh, 15. Okay, so 15. You did
That
less than
also
I thought, then. You're fired.
yeah, it's quite a low number. And some of those were through like small record labels as well.
Cool. Okay, and then okay, so then have you ever had anybody, or sorry, when you were signing people up to work with you, were you kind of going after them, or were they kind of coming to you?
On the whole, they were coming to me, I think. Really, yeah.
So okay, so before we get into anything else, so how did you get your first client? Non-C squared, obviously.
I can't remember which one was first, whether it was the one who just happened to randomly find me or if it was the local band. But they were both sort of through Facebook. They just messaged me. And yeah, did the thing of sending info over and everything, and they were happy to go ahead.
Cool. Okay, and then one thing I forgot to ask you, or not ask you because I already know, but if you can let everybody know how old you are too.
I'm 24.
But you've been doing it for 3 years, so you're a pro.
I guess so. I don't know what an industry expert is.
I don't know. I'm being a bit silly. Okay, so basically, so you did deviate PR for about 2-3 years. You're still kind of working it at the same time, even though you're doing C squared. But I think C squared's your main thing more now.
The main, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so now if you had this is a question. This is a question I'm kind of curious about now. It's like, let's say a band approached you right now. How would you determine whether it be a C squared or a deviate client, out of curiosity? Not because I've never asked you this question, but now I want to know.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I think it would possibly, I mean, things like budget would potentially factor into it because I'm, for my own stuff, not charging as much. But then again, if people are working at C squared, then they're potentially getting like 3 or 4 people working on a campaign. So it's kind of that side of thing.
What would you do? The Joe Blow band comes along and they're like, "Hey, Holly, we want to hire you to be a PR." So how would you determine where you would do that?
I think I'd look at genre. Is going to be a big thing because I know obviously C squared, it's very much more of the hard rock and metal side of things, whereas I will do slightly, I mean, I keep within alternative stuff. I don't do any mainstream. That's not my area at all.
Cool.
So it definitely depends on genre. I think it depends as well partly what they're looking for, because if they want all of like say the ad services, or they want extra help with I mean, I do a little bit of consulting, but obviously you and Corey have got like this major sort of consulting service going on. So if they really want something in depth, then I'm going to think, yeah, they're probably better for C squared.
Okay, I get it. So you're kind of going on the scale of what the band wants.
I think that, yeah.
Ooh. Okay, that makes sense because we never discussed this, so I figured we probably.
No,
yeah, I never just realized. I'm like, we never talked about this before. Okay, so moving right along. So we've gone over your background. So now, next question is: so when you got hired by me and Corey, contractor, whatever the hell you want to call it. So I know it was a little bit of a fast kind of a deal, but what made you think that it would work out for you? Like, why did you agree?
I mean, I was skeptical. I wasn't necessarily sure that it would work out. but I guess I kind of thought this is an unusual opportunity that I never saw coming. Might as well just try it and see what happens. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I know I've tried. And I don't know, I was slightly curious as to why you'd I don't know, seem to sort of like me so quickly.
It was pure instinct. I told you that before. It's just pure instinct. That we kind of made. We had you on the podcast, and we just were kind of like, we messaged each other during it, and we both said, I think she has potential. Neither one of us knew why, but we knew you had potential. So we were like, let's just ask her to come on. That was it. Nothing more. I know it's like it was like the weirdest thing, but it's just the way it fucking happened. So I have no idea other than that, Holly, why we decided to ask you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think it's one of those things I sort of assume that like business deals are always going to be really, really complicated. So I was just kind of surprised at like how chill and easygoing you guys are.
You don't even know how me and Corey came about, do you? Do you know the story? Well, should I be telling the story?
Did she message you on Twitter or you messaged her or something?
Sorry, she just randomly messaged me on Twitter about something. Well, not randomly. There was a little bit more to it. I'm exaggerating just to keep it. But yeah, she messaged me on Twitter, and then about 3 weeks later, we're working together. That was about it. And then 2 weeks after that, we had a business together. And then about 3 weeks after that, we had a business together. And then about a month after that, she's basically running it with me. So I don't know. That's just kind of how the way we run things here. So Gaia's the only person that actually had a bit of a slow burn because I've known Gaia for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I've known Gaia for about a year and a half, or year, sorry, rather. I met her last, I think March. I met her last March, and she was a client of mine at first. So she's the only person that was kind of like I've known for like a considerable amount of time. So anyways, where are we going with this? Now you're asking me questions. No. Okay, so back to Holly. So back to you. So, okay, so you got hired on at C Squared. So how many campaigns have you done with us so far to date? Do you remember?
I better count them.
7, but I'm not. Is that right?
I think so. I mean, because obviously there's like biographies and extra bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Doing as well. So it's nice doing little bits as well as like the full campaigns.
And I want to point out too, if anybody's listening here, Holly's internship lasted about 24 hours, and then we actually gave her some money after that. We're not one of those types of people that just like tell people that they have to intern for like 2 years. Okay, so your primary role at C Squared, I mean, you can do a bunch of things, but your main thing, as far as I can tell, is you're kind of acting like as publicist / bio writer / Pollock's person / mom to Aaliyah and Aaron type thing, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right, I think.
And sometimes you'll do stuff that I ask you to do when I don't pay you, but most of the time I do pay you. It has, I think. But other than that, okay, so what part do you feel that you like the best out of all the roles that you play?
I mean, I enjoy writing anyway, so it's kind of like, yeah, any writing stuff, I always usually enjoy doing it because it's a bit creative. I mean, I find the whole side of things interesting because looking at all the data I find quite interesting, but the slightly more admin-y side of it is, I prefer creative stuff over admin.
Define the admin part you're referring to.
I guess it's just sort of dealing with databases in general. I just sort of like associate all that with admin stuff. I mean, I don't mind it by any means, but I like having something a bit more creative that I can sort of sink my teeth into.
No, I understand that. Okay, so you like the bio writing basically the best. Okay, so how do you feel about when you have to go and do pitching to people you do not know and that you've never met, and it's a completely new world for you? I just out of curiosity, how is it?
I find it slightly more daunting in a way because I feel as though like it's not just me pitching; it's me pitching with your company's name on it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm a bit like, oh, if I say the wrong thing. But I think it's fine. I've not had any negative responses, so hopefully everything's fine and I've not ruined the company.
Cool.
But No, I don't mind it. And in some ways it's quite nice actually, sort of being introduced to people a bit more directly rather
Yep.
than like secondhand sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I do the thing of I'll double and triple check all the links and get a bit paranoid that I've put the wrong email in or something. But it's
And that, but don't even worry about it. I did that this morning, in fact.
that makes me feel better. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually done that myself today. So do not feel bad about putting in the wrong. I did it myself today. So okay, so now, okay, so you feel like it's a little bit daunting because it's not your company. Okay, so let me ask you this: how could you get more comfortable then? I mean, that's what.
It's one of those things. The more I do it, the more comfortable I'll get doing it. Because I mean, the first time I sent out a Horlicks thing, I was panicking a little bit. It's just because, you know, the loading bar comes up and I think, oh, what if I've like not selected something I should have done? But no, it's like, no, it's fine.
Worst case, well, what's the worst case scenario that would happen? Like literally, what
I
would be
don't know.
the
I
worst
think
thing? It's leaked, but who's going to leak it? Because it's got a watermark on it.
Yeah. I think I'm worried, like, if I don't know, piss off any of your contacts or something, but hopefully not.
You're not going to piss anybody off. No, I don't think so. Okay, so you were a bit worried about Hollicks. So you'd never used Hollicks before prior to what were you using?
I've used it loads just from a journalist perspective.
No, but what were you using in Deviate?
I don't know, for my stuff. I send out in emails individually because it got. I would.
Whoa! Back up. You do what? You send them out individually without. How many fucking people do you have on your list? Not that many. Like, how do you what?
I mean, like, well, there's over 1,000, but some of them are, you know, genre specific or location specific.
Do you send out like 1,000 individual emails?
Not. I've
No
not been in a situation where I've had to do 1,000, but it's sometimes like, yeah, a few hundred.
Okay, so you just pull up each individual and you send what, a Dropbox link?
Usually OneDrive, but yeah.
Like, no, oh man, I can't believe you. Like, I couldn't do that. That'd drive me insane. How do you do that? Just do it.
If it didn't bother me, I just put, I don't know, music on in the background and just go through it. Because I mean, it sort of helped. It made life easier in some ways because there were certain journalists that I knew liked certain things. So just being able to personalize everything was easier. And there were occasions where I started off actually using MailChimp and sending out a distribution thing, but it wasn't getting results because they didn't really know who I was, and it's not personalized. I think that's it. That's the thing. If I'd had perhaps more of a, I don't know, like if I was just better known in general or something, then that possibly would have been fine. But it's kind of like a new PR person trying to get to know people, and sending in personal stuff isn't going to work.
No, not at all. But do you feel it's easier now that you're at C² being able to do that? Because we're not really, it's a new company, but does it help or no?
It definitely helps in the respect that, I can spend time perfecting other things, which are probably a little bit more important. And it's like, I can make stuff personal. If I need to reply to someone specifically, then I just send them a personal email. So
yeah. Has anybody told you to fuck off yet or no?
No.
No. Okay. Not even at Deviate or at Deviate, just not at C². Or
no.
rude. There's never been any rudeness.
No, I don't think so. Not anything that I remember.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so now next question here. So now that you're working at C², you've come from Deviate PR over to C². How do you think how do I want to phrase this? So you'd made a post saying that you felt like you were going to quit at one point. Okay. So now how did working with us kind of rejuvenate you into wanting to do PR then?
I think part of it was being like, obviously getting on with you guys so well helped, because it's kind of when it's just me, sometimes you get into like a bit of a down patch and there's not having the motivation to get out of it sort of thing. Whereas when there's other people there, it's like, okay, motivation's back because everyone else is like excited about this. So that definitely helped. And I think it was just, I mean, it's like, you were kind of mentoring me really. So it was,
A little bit.
kind of nice having your advice on things and feeling a bit like, okay, Curtis sort of believes in me, so there must be something there.
I am the God believing in
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I believe in my little, I don't know what you are, my little neophyte. I don't know what the fuck you are, but something, whatever the fuck you are. But okay, so the belief factor helped. Okay, so then, okay, so now how did you kind of get the confidence to kind of do the stuff with us? Because I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I've been doing this for probably about 7 or 8 years. Corey hasn't as long. I mean, she's been in journalism for 2 years at Metal Injection. So how did you kind of get the confidence to kind of work with us? Because I would probably have been intimidated. And again, I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying, if I would, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think part of it was kind of okay, these guys have sort of chosen me for a reason, so that means I kind of just get on and do it is probably going to be the best, best strategy with it. And I think it helps that obviously I didn't have experience with like Horlicks and stuff, but the general sort of running a PR campaign I am familiar with anyway. So it's kind of like I knew roughly what does work and what doesn't work.
Cool.
I don't know. I think part of it is I've just sort of got into the mindset of you just sort of need to go for things, and if they don't work out, they don't work out.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. But at the same time, I do know it's going to work out with this because of the fact that you're good at what you're doing. Corey's good at what she's doing. Guys good at what she's doing, and I'm good at what I'm doing. So is Aaliyah, and so is Aaron. So it's going to be good. Okay, so now your intention at some point is to start doing this full time, right? Like,
yeah, if possible, that would be ideal. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so can you kind of go over why you want to be doing music PR / consulting / whatever the hell else you're going to be doing with us full time?
I mean, a huge part of it is that I enjoy it. I mean, obviously, it's, like with any job, it's not going to be 100% enjoyment every single, every minute. But it's something that I'm genuinely interested in. And I just like the fact that whenever, a new band signs up for a campaign and get to listen to the music for the first time, it's always a surprise. I never know what I'm going to get. Yep. So I love that side of it.
Cool. Okay, so now next question. So when picking clients, so far it's basically been me kind of quality checking everyone. I think you've been good with everyone that I've signed up so far. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. There's never been any that I thought no.
I usually won't take anyone if I don't like them. That's basically the thing. So, okay. So now let's say you were choosing the client came to you for C Squared. How would you kind of quality check them?
I think the first thing is probably listen to the music and just make sure it's there sort of quality wise, like they've not just recorded it on a phone. There's like you do with the lyrics thing, making sure there's nothing racist or sexist or deeply unpleasant or political or anything. I probably also look at their social media and if they've got a website and things like that. I don't know if they've got any reviews already, or like whether that's from fans on Facebook or whether it's actual press stuff. I think, and sort of seeing where they're at, because if it's like, I know sometimes if a band is right at the very beginning, PR isn't necessarily going to help them a huge amount because they need to do some groundwork first.
Yeah, it depends.
So it does depend on where they're at and stuff like that. It's one of those things I would to an extent go off whether I like the music or not. But having said that, I don't know, my favorite genre of music is not necessarily like something outside of that doesn't mean it's not good. Does that make sense?
I take on genres I don't like all the time just because if I think that the music's quality, if I think that other people will like it, I might take it. Like I've had grindcore bands. I don't like grindcore, but if I get a grindcore band and I think that they will do well, and I think that they have a quality product, I'm more than happy to work it. But it's the same thing with black metal. I'm not like a huge black metal guy, but there are some form like raw black metal specifically. But I've taken it if I thought that it was a good enough presentation and I thought people would enjoy it. But if I personally have any doubt about it, I won't take it. Not at all. Okay, so you'll check music quality first, then lyrics, then social media as being your criteria right there. Okay. What else do I want to ask you on that part right there? Okay, so what do you think a band should have in place other than that when they contact you?
I think ideally, if they could have like a rough release date in mind, that would probably be helpful because in case they suddenly decide, oh yeah, can we release next week? No, that's not.
Most people don't do that to me, but yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's fine then.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing that I would like to see more of is bands having things like music videos and that prepared ahead.
Yeah.
Just because it's slightly frustrating, if we're trying to organize a premiere or something, and sometimes it's like, okay, it's sorted, but I can't send the blog of the thing because the thing isn't ready yet. And
I actually have that now where a client doesn't have the video ready, but they need it premiered next week, and I can't get the premiere because I don't have the video, and no one will take the video without seeing. So, but they want it next Friday, so I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
I know.
I don't know, but the guy, they know the issue, and I told them that before, but that's the way it's got to run right now. Okay, so what else do I need to ask you about quality? So, okay, is there any genres that you, Holly, would not touch yourself for C Squared? Obviously not, like, and I
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, well, we don't do. Do we do pop punk? I hope we don't. I don't know what my thing.
Oh, but it failed utterly, so I probably would never do it again.
No.
Yeah, it was horrible. I didn't do good at it.
Yeah, personally, that's the. I mean, there's some stuff that's okay, but most of it I can't stand, unfortunately. So that's probably definitely a big no.
Also on the harder end.
I don't know, because it's like you say, as long as it's quality of what it is, I'd probably be happy with any metal genre.
Okay.
I think.
Fair. What about like so even like hair metal or new metal?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not what I'd necessarily choose to listen to, but yeah. If it's good enough, then sure.
Fine. Okay, fine. Okay, so now what would make you say no right away to a band other than obviously like sexism or racism?
I guess part of it would possibly be the attitude, actually. That is something I probably keep in mind.
Yeah, totally.
Because I know it's, sometimes, I think most of the time bands are reasonably polite. But when you get the ones that are a bit sort of like forward and aggressive and like, oh, I can just promote this or whatever, it's kind of like, if you're being a bit funny with me now, what you're going to be like during the campaign, sort of thing.
I've turned those down many times.
Yeah, that would be a big little red flag.
So okay, so now just back up for a second here. So have you ever had it where you've taken a client and they ended up being a complete dick?
No, I don't. No, I've yeah.
Okay.
Whether that will happen, I hope it doesn't happen, but it's not happened yet, really. No.
Oh, I've had it, so that's what I'm asking. I'm sure it'll probably happen at some point. Hopefully not with us, but okay. So what would you do? Like, let's say, I mean, it's C Squared, so I mean, you have to talk to me about it, obviously. But let's say this is in Deviate for a second here. Let's say you do sign up a client, they end up being a complete dickhead. What would Holly do?
I mean, in many ways, I don't know because I have not been there. It's one of those things. I mean, I guess I put there's a line in the contract that I've added in fairly recently, just in case, as a harassment or whatever will not be tolerated, sort of thing. So.
Oh, that's smart.
I should have mentioned this to you. You should maybe add that in. I don't know, because then I guess you
add that in, because if anybody harasses any of you guys, I'll just send somebody after them.
I'll do it. So I guess I mean I should have put that in from the beginning, but at least it's in there now, so it's kind of I guess I would probably do the thing of that's it, we're not working anymore, and obviously if they've paid money, then well, it's like I wouldn't refund them for it unless there was a very particular reason to do so, because it's kind of I've done everything on my end. You're the one being unpleasant, I'm not dealing with this.
Okay, why did you put that in there out of curiosity? That's kind of an odd thing if you've never had it happen to you.
Yeah, I think something just clicked a while ago where I thought, just in case something does go wrong, I should probably have a thing in the contract that means partly what it is as well. Well, we went, this is not music PR related at all, but we were involved in like a small claims court case over something. And going through, and my partner's training to be a magistrate, so it's like I'm suddenly very involved in the legal side of things at the minute. I was thinking, actually, I should probably write in stuff that covers pretty much every scenario.
You're in charge of contracts now.
Oh God, okay.
You're now in charge of contracts.
That's my new title. That's fine.
Now you're in charge of contracts. Okay, so I didn't know this. Okay, this is good. This is good. Now we got like a lawyer type person on staff.
I mean, I'm not qualified. Do not take legal advice from me.
Well, you know more than I. Well, actually, yeah, you're in the UK too, so that might not work out.
It's probably slightly different, but
yeah. Okay, so never mind that. But if I need legal advice, I'm asking you, even though you might not know. What else was I going to ask about the contract? So okay, so so tell me this. So since we're on the subject, what should I have in my contracts that I don't have in my contracts? I don't know if you've seen. Oh, you have seen them.
I've seen some of that. I've forgotten exactly what's in it, but I have seen.
Mine are.
Do you include something about delivering materials? I don't know, on time or within a certain.
I don't. I probably should, but I don't.
Maybe that should be something to add in.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else?
I don't know. I guess, I mean, what have you had any? I'm going to ask you a question now. Have you had any other like dodgy scenarios that maybe it would have been useful to have something?
Well, I think the worst thing, the main things that I've had issues with in the past is where someone after they've signed up for a campaign, they want me to promote something that I don't want to promote.
Okay. So yeah, like afterwards, they've just sent you like an extra something and be like, oh, by the way, can you do this?
I have it as part of the thing. Like, for example, I had a client about 5 years ago in the United States that requested a link to be put in for a political organization. And it was part of their video. I guess it was a whole theme of it and everything like that. And I'm not American, so I don't know what this is. And stupidly, I didn't Google before doing this. And it ended up being the guy, it was like people were just pissed. He was some sort of like severe right-wing thing. I had no fucking clue. The guy was super controversial. And I did not know. And I had everybody and their fucking dog coming after me because of it. So I had no idea about any of this. And I Googled him later. I mean, he wasn't like super right wing. I shouldn't say super right wing, but he was kind of one of those type of guys that's very controversial. So it wasn't worth the money that I was paid in order to do it. So from now on, what I do, and I've also had people do like weird charities and stuff, like weird charities, like weird, or they'll weird charities, yeah, or they'll do like what am I looking for? They'll try to do like a fundraiser for something that's like weird, or they'll do like, there's like all sorts of weird things I've had. So
right, my brain's going to very random places trying to figure out.
Well, just weird things is all I'm going to say. Like there was this one, they wanted to do like this drug legalization thing. I'm not into that. And it was all part of their video and stuff. And I'm now having to promote something I don't want to promote because I've been paid for it. So what I do now is, and then someone else had something where they were trying to promote something. It was some medical type thing. Like it was like a weird medical, I can't remember what it was, but it was like a weird type of thing. And so now what I will not accept anything that's political links, anything to do with medicine, mental health, naturopathy, anything like that. I just go, yeah. So, so if anybody brings up anything that's like any of those types of subjects, I'm like, no, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. So, yeah. Oh, and also I've seen in the past too, where this hasn't happened to me, but I've had it where bands have done fundraisers. Not me, but I've seen it with other PRs. Bands have done fundraisers. They don't send the money to the cause. So the PR looks like a dick because they've been promoting this thing, right? So these are all different things I don't want to get involved in. Yeah. So like, fundraiser for autism, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I don't like, I mean, I know that's a good I'm not doing it. Starving children, not doing it. It's not happening. Yeah. So those are like the type of things that I've had experience with in the past that have been kind of dodgy at times. So I just will not touch it with a 10-foot pole. I mean, even if it was your school coming to us, I would be like, no, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's not something I've ever encountered, so.
Well, and you might not have a problem with it too sometimes, right? Like, I mean, you might not have a problem with charity, which is fine. But then to me, it opens up the door to other things coming in. So now I'm just like, not doing it, not dealing with it. Thank you very much. I don't care how good the cause is. I'm just not fucking taking part of it. What else is there? Okay, let's get back to you because now you're asking me questions. Right, Holly. You totally swung the subject here. Okay, so what do you think would be the optimum campaign for you? Like, who would be the optimum client for you at C Square?
Oh. As in, like a sort of.
Who would you be?
Like an actual person, or just sort of like the area of
type? Like, so who would be the type of person? Like, for me, it would be someone like Lindsay. I think Lindsay is like basically. Lindsay's gonna be mad because I'm tooting her horn, but Lindsay's like basically the ultimate client because she's easy to work with, gets you everything on time, knows exactly what she wants, some communication, just super easy to work with. So she would be like someone like her. I like us having.
Yeah, I've heard good things from you and Gaia. So
you will be working with any future campaigns that we do. So don't you worry about that. You will see.
Be very cool.
You will.
Yeah, I think. I think someone who's organized, and I'm gonna say, when I say know what they're doing, I don't mean that I expect them to understand PR, but I guess they know what they're doing in the respect of they know the release date, they know exactly how many singles, they know exactly any videos or artwork or like any little extras that they want to go with it. So at least they can then say to the, as PR or whoever it is they go with, here is everything, help me organize it.
Well, what would you say? Okay, that's fine. Now, what would you say people should have in terms of expectations for their PR? A new band.
I think, they need to be aware of the fact that nothing is guaranteed.
Yep.
And that, like you say, like the way that you do it, that you ask people if there is a particular publication they'd be interested in. It's kind of, even though you're asking them that, it needs to be aware that, again, it's not a guarantee, it just gives us a focus.
Yeah.
And I think that they perhaps need to understand as well that PR isn't just the results, because sometimes people just dive straight to what did you get, what didn't you get, and they evaluate a campaign like that. And it's kind of, well, if you've had good engagement, if you've got, I don't know, more sales from it, even if it's not obviously like directly through this, but it's open channels, which are open channels, and things like that. So it's, I think people perhaps need to, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if there's just this perception of PR in general that it is just results, or if it's, I don't know, miscommunications or just myths that are like grown.
Well, not every campaign is going to do as well as other campaigns.
Oh yeah.
Like some campaigns you might, like I've had it where I've gotten things like, I remember one campaign I got metal sucks, metal injection, decibel, and nothing else. Like nothing. I know, it was weird. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, big three, nothing else. Client was thrilled. I was pissed off. But reversely, I've had it where I've gotten the client like tons and tons of press, but they didn't get metal injection or metal sucks, and they're fucking furious.
Yeah.
So, but I've also had it where, it just doesn't fly no matter what you do. And you keep pushing it, nothing happens. And, client gets upset, rightly so. But I mean, sometimes, even major labels have that happen to them. So sometimes it just doesn't hit right. So thus the results cannot be guaranteed line in the contract that people. So, okay, what else do we want to cover with you, Holly? So why do you think you're a good fit for C Squared?
I like to think that it helps that I've got musician side of things and journalism side of things. So it's kind of it helps to be able to see both sides. So it's like, okay, the musicians, they've put blood, sweat and tears and everything into the music, but the journalist has got to deal with 10,000 emails in their inbox trying to sort through all. So it's kind of okay, this is your music that you worked really hard on. How do we pitch it in the best way so that the journalist is then going to go, delete all other emails except this one or whatever. So I hope that helps anyway. And I think, previous bits of PR experience as well. So I've not come into it completely brand new. It's more sort of adapting to how you and Corey sort of do things in the direction that you're going in with the business rather than learning everything from scratch.
Yeah. Well, does that really kind of help with you with doing that too? Kind of like, having people that you can ask the question. Well, I guess that's kind of a stupid question. It probably does, but.
Yeah, it definitely helps. And it's kind of helped a bit, actually. It's kind of a bit of a, I don't know, probably a bit of a confidence boost as well, because it's kind of, there's times that I ask you guys things and you're like, yeah, you're doing it right. And I'm like, really? Oh, great. But then at the same time, obviously, it's helpful when you guys can say, okay, we recommend this, or maybe try this. And
have we pissed you off at all with telling you that you're doing something wrong? Because I know I've corrected you a couple of times. Have you gotten that? No.
No, because I'd rather, like, you say something than not say something and something go horribly wrong.
Cool.
Yeah.
Some people get upset when they get corrected, so that's why I was just asking.
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, so next question. I think we got like 5 minutes left, Holly, and then you can go about your night, evening, or whatever the heck it is over there. What time is it?
It's like 10 to 9.
10 to 9, almost bedtime. Awesome. Holy crap. No, probably not. You're going to be messaging us at like 1 a.m. your time, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I do the thing of, I'll go to bed at a reasonable hour and then I'm still awake at midnight, like checking the group chat, like, what's going on?
I did this, guys. Now what was I going to ask you? Okay, so now here's the next question here. So how do you feel that the culture at C Squared is? Because it's pretty sarcastic. We are pretty different. All of us are quite, I don't know if the word psychotic is right, but different. So how do you feel about the culture at C Squared? Because I keep waiting for you to get upset at us and quit.
This is going to say a lot about me, isn't it? I kind of feel at home.
Good.
Yay, they're all weird. It's wonderful. Because I think I've struggled sort of when I've had a couple of like normal jobs with normal people, and it's like I daren't say anything sarcastic to them because they might freak out or something, or I don't know. I can just be weird with you guys. It's great.
How do you think I feel? I've got like 4 women, and I like fuck make sure I'm not saying anything completely offensive. Otherwise, we're gonna get everybody quitting on me. Corey's saying all the worst stuff, and I'm like just kind of sitting alongside of her.
It's funny. She looks so sweet and innocent in like some of the photos and stuff, and then this
like what?
Right.
Okay, so you're fine with the culture. That's good. I'm glad you're not going to be quitting because we said something. Good. Where do you want to see C Squared in 2 years?
I guess I just sort of like to see it grow more and sort of hopefully develop a bit more. Because I mean, we got loads of stuff going on. Like there's the compilation thing, and obviously there's all the podcast episodes and everything else alongside all of the PR stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see maybe if those things start to go somewhere. But yeah, I like to think, we'll be working with more and more bands and hopefully build up more of like a positive reputation, hopefully.
I think we already got a good one that's going, but it's going to take off even more.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, so what else do we need to cover? Anything you want to ask me on the podcast that's embarrassing or not so embarrassing or soul searching or anything like that?
I have got a question. This is slightly sort of unrelated. I don't know. Have you ever been in a band?
Never. I know nothing about music.
Interesting. I was trying to figure out if you had or not, and I couldn't work it out.
I've got absolutely no background in anything to do with music. I know nothing about it, but I'm good at apparently doing PR for it, and I'm good at selling it. But other than that, nothing. Nothing. Yeah.
It never appealed, or just?
I just never bothered.
No, fair enough.
Okay. Any other questions you got for me, Holly?
That was probably about it.
Holy fuck.
I
Jesus
don't.
Christ. That was way embarrassing to pop up here. Jesus Christ, Holly. You sure?
I mean, I'll probably think of something later.
Well,
At the moment, I can't think of anything. So
cool. Then I'm going to ask you one final question, and then we're going to end off. Okay. So, other than what you've already said, what would you like people to know about you that may not know you?
Well, I'm a PhD student. I don't know if that's of interest.
Dr. Holly.
Hopefully, in
Dr.
however
Holly.
many years it takes.
And then she quits to be a doctor of whatever the heck it is that you're being.
I don't know. Lecturers don't seem to actually be paid that much, so I'll probably be sticking with music. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I'll do a bit of both. That would be quite fun, but we'll see.
What are you taking it in again?
My research area is destabilizing masculinities in heavy metal.
Oh my God.
So I never know. I might be interviewing you guys for surveys at some point in a few years. We'll see.
Yeah, I can feel it now. Thanks, Holly. Oh God, you're gonna like kill me now. I can feel it. You and Corey are gonna take over the company.
No, you're fine.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so you're a PhD student. What else? Wait. 1 sec. Your major is in getting rid of masculinity. How is that? That's the actual major? Like,
I crossed gender studies, English literature, and popular music. Those are my disciplines.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else?
This works.
Okay. So what else should people know about you before we wrap up here? Now that we know that you want to kick me out of my own company.
No.
I'm kidding.
I don't know. I don't know what people find interesting. That's my problem.
Okay. Well, okay. So why don't you maybe say something about what is the campaign you've run to date, including Deviate, that you're the most proudest of? And then I'm going to say something nice about you before we end off. Even though you want to kill me and take over my company.
I mean, with the C Squared, like, I'm really happy with how Wretch's campaign turned out.
Me too.
I feel like I sort of jumped on it like partway through. But that was like a really nice introduction, and John's great anyway. Yeah. So, and I really liked his music, so that was really nice. And like, I'm enjoying doing doing stuff with Richard that we've got at the minute. So cool. Yeah, and I guess out of like Deviate PR stuff, I worked with a like industrial metal meets lots of synth stuff. A guy called Leatherback, and he was just so nice to work with. Nice,
cool.
That was awesome.
Cool. Okay, so before we wrap up, I just want to say Holly is the greatest person. Well, maybe not the greatest person, but she's one of the greatest that we've had work for us. Her and Gaia both have been absolutely fantastic. One thing that I know about Holly is that whenever you ask her to do something, she's very prompt on it. She's very thorough. She doesn't hide or anything like that. She gets the job done. She asks questions if she has any questions. I trust her completely with any PR campaign, and I trust her with pretty much anything right now. And I think Corey does too, because she's proven herself in a very short time as being a very capable person. So if you ever wanted to get a PR campaign done and you want Holly to do it, you got to get a tier 1 campaign. Because it has all 3 of us working it. If you want to just have Holly working it with one of us, message one of us and we'll try to figure it out, see how we can do it. But right now she's mainly tier 1 stuff. But yeah, we could probably get you doing a tier 2 if someone asked for you. We just have to figure it out. we'd have to figure it out. But do you have any final words, Holly, before we end off?
No, not really. I'm really bad at final words.
Cool. Okay. Well, with that, end the podcast. Oops, hold on. I gotta figure out how to do